Let's go.
What's
Do
up,
it.
everybody? Welcome to CFP Talks. As always, I'm here with my brother from another mother, Mr. David Fuchs. I am Joe Nissim, and this is CFP Talks. And I want to talk about something,
An intangible.
an intangible. And I'm going to throw it to you, David, because I think that your studying was one of the best examples of this was um, we always talk about kind of emptying your cup and how you
Yeah.
need additional bandwidth. A lot of candidates come to me and say, I'm just going to add this to my current load. And for most of us, we're kind of right at the right at the max of what we can handle. And I think we kind of overestimate our ability to kind of just work and work and work and work where we're human. We need social time and we need the ability to kind of maintain some level of normalcy when we're studying. And the only way you can really do that is with other people's help. And
Yeah.
we call this the intangibles. And I
Yeah.
think your example, personal example, is the best version of this. So I'm going to let you take it away.
No, for sure. And this is something that, the reason I say it's an intangible is because, this is not anything to do with actually preparing, nothing to do with it. And it's not something that anyone would even tell you to look out for. When you enroll in a course, whatever course you're taking, they're not going to even mention this, but just going through it, and you've experienced this with the hundreds and thousands of people that you've worked with over the years. You notice how beneficial it is to have a good team around you. And that's kind of what we want to talk about, is having when you pass, it's a team effort. You have to have, when I was going through, um I was living with Alex, who at this point is my fiance. Then she was my girlfriend, and it was she was able to, first of all, be very patient, knowing what the situation was. Because I've heard of other scenarios where significant others or friends were not as patient and not understanding, and things obviously didn't go well there. But patient, knowing kind of what you're going through and being okay with it, and then also being okay with taking a lot of responsibilities off your plate. We just got a dog 2 weeks before I took the exam. I remember you were like, "What the fuck are you doing,
Yeah,
bro?"
I was,
Like,
was so annoyed at you. I was
I
like,
was like,
why would you do this?
dumbest fucking decision ever. But it is what it is. We
Yeah,
committed to him.
exactly.
Um,
And
and
I think that was the attitude I took at the time. I'm like, there's nothing we can do now. Like
yeah, I'm not gonna give him back.
yeah, the
But
milk is spilled now.
yeah, but knowing that I that's obviously really hard. There's a lot of responsibility, especially early on. Knowing that I wasn't gonna be so stressed and bogged down with that, because my significant other slash roommate, I don't call her my roommate, but
Don't, don't let her see this video.
yeah, but took a lot of those stuff off, and that helped. Because when you're going through this, one thing, your life doesn't just stop.
Yeah.
You got other shit that you're doing. You have a full-time job, you're managing your social life in your house, and so there's a lot of stuff to juggle and balance. And if you have a teammate, friend, family, significant other that can help subside some of that, it's significantly helpful for you. And that's why we always say this, it's a team effort. And that's an intangible that you're probably not going to hear a lot of other places.
Yeah, and it's always the little things. Do you know what I mean? Like I was very lucky when I was taking CFP, and when I took CFA, uh I didn't necessarily have these luxuries, which made the process harder for me, especially when I moved to LA. I was taking CFA level 2, and I didn't know anybody except the girl that I was dating at the time because it was COVID. And um she was great, but we weren't living together, so it was every time that she did something, it was like it was so appreciated. But
Oh,
let me give you an example. When I was taking CFP, I was living with I was 26. So I was living with my buddy, and our house was like a frat house. So I left. I was like, I can't study here. And we honestly barely had any furniture in the apartment to begin with to study on, other than the kitchen table. But it was like, the place was just, it was crazy. Like, people were coming in and out. We had people coming over on the weekends. They were staying, sleeping on the couch. So I went home and I stayed with my mom for a couple of weeks. And it was all the little stuff that I was very fortunate that my mom
Mm.
and my stepdad were they were so good to me. Like, my mom was just excited to have me back in the house, but she would
Yeah, well,
give me breakfast. And
yeah, and that's huge because you don't have to worry about that.
which took the stress off of having to worry about breakfast.
And time.
Right.
Yeah.
She would, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing to say, but she packed my lunch. And I would come home and I could get to studying because I didn't have to make dinner. I didn't have to
And you don't have to think or stress about it. That's like the huge part about it.
exactly. I didn't have to worry about stopping at the store, which, oh my God, there was a line at the store, or, there is this going on and I couldn't get there. And then it was like, they were so sweet in terms of, like, I didn't grocery shop. I didn't have to, like, I was like, oh, I got to get these dry cleaned. And my stepdad was like, I'll take it with my stuff. Don't worry about it. I didn't have to go to the dry cleaner. Like, it just
Amazing.
made my life so much easier, where it was like, I could get home and get right to business. I didn't
Hmm.
I didn't have to do my laundry, so it wasn't like I was burning time doing that. Like,
Yep. Yep.
so my life, I didn't have to clean the house. I didn't have to vacuum. I didn't have to do laundry. And that made my life so much easier, that when I was done studying, I was done studying. It wasn't I was done studying and then I had to fold clothes or clean the kitchen or cook a meal or worry about lunch tomorrow or do
You were
all the other
chilling.
stuff that was had I could literally do that, watch TV for half hour, go to sleep,
Yeah.
and not worry about anything. When I was taking level 2 of CFA, the girl that I was dating at the time would do really sweet things. Like, on a Sunday, like, she knew I was studying and came over and she was like, I'm bringing you lunch. And it just took something off my plate, which was great. No pun intended. But it was like she was like, I will she came over one time. She's like, give me your keys. She took my card for a car wash. Something that I did every single week. She's like, I'm gonna do it. And like, even having somebody around that was like, yo, what are you doing right now? You studying? And I'm like, and I would get really annoyed, but I actually really appreciated that they were like trying to keep me accountable, because
Mm.
my study breaks, if unchecked, would be like, study for 2 hours and take a break for 2 hours instead of 30 minutes, and how that goes. But it all of those things
It helps, dude. It helps. Like, and also
helps.
knowing that you have like that emotional support, knowing that like someone like knows what you're going through, they know the struggles, they know that it's stressful, they know that it's really fucking hard, and they are patient. And like I always say, like there were times where like we couldn't watch that extra at Netflix episode. These are all like little things. Like there's times where I couldn't like sit there and chat after dinner. There's times where I honestly didn't even like we didn't even go to bed together. Like
Yeah.
we didn't get like I had to stay up studying. And I mean I could see that would be kind of like that could be frustrating for somebody.
Yeah. And especially
But
when you're
but
building a life together with somebody and you guys have your routines,
yeah,
like, and now
yeah,
that routine gets interrupted, you need that. And not for nothing, you're also quite cranky during the study process. And it was
100%.
boring because every time you see that person, you're only going to talk about the CFP.
No, right. And they know that your mind is on that. You're stressed, you're upset, you're in a mood, whatever. And like just circling back to what my point was that having somebody on your team or your members on your team that are all gonna have that patience and support and confidence in you is really, really, really monumental. And that's why again, I'll go back to it. I really, truly, I really, really like truly believe this that it really is a team effort. It is. It like they helped you pass.
Yeah. I like what you said, and I don't know if you said this the last time we talked about it, but you said it's not I pass, we pass.
Mm-hmm.
Me,
Exactly.
Alex and I passed this exam,
Yep. Exactly.
and it's really true because honestly, without her, like holding down the fort, and like, I think about like, even with like this eye surgery, like I was like 2 days I really couldn't do much, and like having somebody there that was like cooking and cleaning and doing all the dishes, and doing all that by themselves when it's usually a team effort, it's really helpful. Like, and I do the same thing with my girlfriend. Like, she just got a new job, she got promoted, the responsibilities are more, and sometimes she's sitting there and clicking away at the laptop at 9 p.m., and then waking up the next day and having lunch ready in the fridge that she can just pop in her bag and go is a huge benefit to her. But that's the team, because you're going to pay back that favor at some point as well.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And
but
we'll talk about this in a few days. Sorry, before I know you're going to wrap up, but we'll talk. We're going to actually talk about this in a few days. But it's not just that team; it's also the team that you're actually going to be on the field with, which is the people that are going through the exam. That's another key thing. So working with like a group or a partner, and we're going to talk about that in a few days.
yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. As always, I hope this was helpful, and feel free to reach out to David or myself with any questions or comments or concerns. Have a great one.